Epic big time boosters. We need a short name for it, like EBTB. EBTB. Epic big time boosters. I thought this used to be just legends, man. Now normal players have it. Alright, stay off the bat, dude. Musiala is the best out of all. And then him, and then Davis. All three, it's a good pack value in my opinion, because they're permanent B. They're permanent B. However, I can only compare him to other epic boost time high protein diet players, right? And there are two players comes to mind. Cruyff, Kaká. If you don't have Cruyff and Kaká, then I think this one is worth it. Disadvantages, I mean, you're talking about a rapid player with high balance, acceleration, dribbling, passing, and finishing. Because he doesn't play SS, personally, I didn't give him a lot of finishing because he doesn't play SS. Skill-wise, he's a super sub. You can give him flip-flap, the double touch, the level 3. I think he needs one-touch passing. He's got first-time shot, long-range shooting. Do you know what? When it comes to how to train him and skills, I usually post about that. Let's not make this too long. So definitely, I think top-tier player from the pack is him. And Kimmich, dude, like every Kimmich card is a nightmare to face. Even some of those like player of the week one with like 75 speed chases my fastest guys. So definitely has some Konami juice. Davis, it's not gonna be doesn't fit a meta system because in a meta system, fullbacks don't attack. I need defensive fullbacks. For 3-5-2, he could be good. For 5 at the back, perfect. But a lot of people use one offensive fullback. They use defense on him, and if they need to be more offensive, just go red. Defense inactivates, basically. But imagine how many points he needs to make that defensive awareness 58 high. Even with the boosting the booster, you need to give him like probably 14 points just to get the defensive awareness to orange tier 70. Beyond that, he's got the agility technique. He's got to be rapid, right? I personally always like to give my fullback a little bit of physical contact. His dribbling will go high easily. His passing, you can even give him some finishing, really, if you're going to properly use him as an offensive fullback. And in terms of Kimmich, he can play CMF, AMF, DMF, CMF, AMF. Kimmich is a defensive-minded player. So I wouldn't recommend making him way too defensive. Like, if you want to make his defensive awareness 90, including manager 85 proficiency boost, you need to give him 17 points in defense, and you're going to wreck his the rest of his ability. I'll show you how I train him in a second. But his boost is like finishing. So they made this card more offensive-minded one, hence he can play AMF. And I think in a lot of systems like 3-5-2, that's center CMF instead of being AMF, he could be perfect there because he's going to lurk in front of your half and opposition's final third. So it could be good to have a good passer and finisher lurking around there. It could work. For me, that guy is Pirlo in a way. Ability-wise, not better than Pirlo because Pirlo can have speed acceleration 80, all technique 90, and all defensive. Maybe defensively, it could be better. But train him based on how you permanently going to use him. If you're going to use him as a fullback permanently, you got to give him at least 14 points. 17 points on defense if you're going to use him as a fullback. Skill-wise, right off the bat, blocker. Maybe area superiority. As I said, when it comes to the recommended skills, I'll post it on Discord, Twitter, and probably YouTube community. So that is my review for it, dude. Like, I don't want to dive too much into some basic, which most of you guys know. Even people who are new doesn't understand much about the game. Those of you guys on YouTube, I got videos covering understanding player ability combined with skill. Once you know what each player ability stands for, like awareness, ball control, tie position. Because some new guys mistaken dribbling for dribbling. Dribbling is basically running with the ball. Speed is running without the ball, and so on. I'll show you how I train him. I have slight regret about Davis, though, the way I trained him. I have a slight regret. With Musiala, no regrets. But obviously the best way for you to see these guys, it's with the boost and everything, okay? That's the best way to see them. So let's start with Davis. Now this includes the player's epic boost, which is 2+ on 4 abilities with the green ones, for those of you who don't know. Manager's proficiency being 85 gives them another 2+ on all abilities. So when you train players, you calculate those. My only regret is I didn't need to give him 9 on speed. See here, that 9 was wasted. I miscalculated. You know, I was like, after 3 hours of editing was like 1 a.m. I should have just not trained it really. But I was excited. So my regret is doesn't need 9 speed, to be honest. Because whether the speed is 98 or 97, it's still going to be 102 anyway. Beyond that, personally, I like my fullback to have some physicality. In general, I recommend take the point from physicality, give it to defense. Because if you make defensive awareness 68, with the bonus will be 70, green tier. So that's what I recommend in general. For dribbling, I wouldn't recommend more than that. Maybe passing a bit more, depend if you're going to use them purely like an attacking fullback. For me, not bothered about defensive awareness too much because if I use them, it's going to be in 3-5-2 really. But yeah, that's one thing. I should not give him 9 points on speed. And I think in terms of skill, he's got pinpoint crossing, slide tackle, acrobatic clearance, weighted pass. Yeah, we said we talk about that. I'll definitely give him a blocker, for instance. That's a first thing, whether it's defensive or offensive. And then with Musiala, I have no regrets about him. Probably, I didn't give him a lot of finishing because he doesn't play SS. And remember, I don't play one system. And the reason why I go for more speed than normal because of I play quick counter, not long ball counter. I wanted to see one ability that is boosted. I wanted to boost one ability that is boosted already. It's like boosting the boost in a way. Because I feel like if you don't boost the boost, you're nerfing the player. But there's nothing wrong with going balance. You're not gonna go wrong with it. But if I was to reset him, maybe give him more finishing. But it depends if he's your main AMF. For me, he's not gonna be main, he's a super sub. I don't like starting with a super sub player. So this is how I have mine. But generally speaking, probably I'll recommend maybe more finishing. And then for Kimmich, this is how I have him. If you mainly use him as a DMF, that defensive awareness with the boost, probably 90 would be good. But then if you make his defensive awareness 90, you're not going to be able to give him that much passing, all ball control, or physicality, or speed. Now, generally, if you're playing long ball counter, you don't need that much speed. It's good to have it. Like if you're playing long ball counter, I recommend 8 points on speed. 8 points on speed and rest of it for dribbling maybe. 2 more points on dribbling, 2 less points on speed. If you're playing long ball counter. But I go with the thing is though, Kimmich, even with like 75 speed, he's still fast. There's something magical about it. So I feel like I wasted those points on speed. But we'll see how it turns out. And that's our player review, man.